Aladdin celebrating a decade on Broadway, 10 years and going strong at the New Amsterdam Theater. Let's send it out to Beth Stevens.
Thanks, Tamsin. We are at the home of composer Alan Menken, the EGOT winner behind such hits as Little Shop of Horrors, Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, Newsies, and Aladdin, which is celebrating 10 years on Broadway. Well, I want to congratulate you on 10 years of Aladdin, which I hear will now be the 15th longest running Broadway show of all time.
Wow, okay.
How does that feel for you?
It feels great. You don't ever want to go into one of these things with expectations about how long it will run or what it will, it will do. You just want to please an audience. But years have passed and we're still there.
So tell me the Aladdin origin story.
Aladdin, as an animated, actually, we were working on that almost at the same time as Little Mermaid. We developed it as a buddy picture. It was about Aladdin and his three sidekicks. And there was, the love interest, but it was more like, the Hope Crosby Road pictures. Bob Hope and Bing Crosby, for those who don't know, I realize different generation,
Yeah, right.
The road pictures. And it was very irreverent. They said, you know what, let's go back into development with this and let's move forward with Beauty and the Beast. So Aladdin retreated, Beauty came forward, and then finally we came back to Aladdin. And by the time we came back to Aladdin, Howard was quite sick. And he actually passed away before we could finish it. Tim Rice was brought on and we finished it together.
How did it feel for you to come back to it, to come back to the piano after Howard was gone?
Oh God, such a combination of emotions. Howard being gone is deeply emotional. They say, well, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. We were writing incredible material together and he was dying day by day. And when we'd be in a room, it was about the characters and the story and the project. When Howard actually passed, it was incredibly sad. It was we were all emotionally shell-shocked. And at the same time, I was juggling Beauty, Aladdin, and Newsies at the same time. So I remember the day he died, I was literally flying off to LA for the first sessions on Newsies. Then finished that session, I can't remember what song it was, got back on a plane and flew back to Baltimore. We were there for Howard's funeral. And I went back to LA and along the way cried a few times. And and also there was that incredible stress of what's going to happen to my career now. This collaboration with Howard was so unique and so special. What's going to happen? And then basically the first song I wrote, after that was with Tim Rice, and it was A Whole New World.
A whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes. Hold your breath, it gets better.
When you returned to Aladdin with your new collaborators,
Yeah.
especially for Broadway, you had new lyricists.
Oh, that, yeah.
With Chad Beglin. Did it feel for you like there could be a seamlessness between the lyrics so that it all felt one piece, one show?
The biggest thing when we came to Broadway was the movie evolved from a buddy picture into a romance. I wanted to bring back the songs that Howard and I had written for the original as much as possible.
Were there many cut songs? Did you have a trunk of songs?
Oh yeah, Babcock and Aladdin Kazim, High Adventure, Proud of Your Boy. Proud of your boy, I'll make you proud of your boy. Believe me, bad as I've been, ma, you're in for a pleasant surprise. I've wasted time.
What were the musical inspirations behind Aladdin?
We started with Little Shop of Horrors, really looked for interesting, surprising musical genres that would give a whole other point of view to the storytelling. And so it's a real amalgam of Harlem jazz, Hollywood, pictures, Broadway, and Middle Eastern all together. And it's a package that seems to work. And I'll say, Mr. Aladdin, sir, what will your pleasure be? Let me take you on a jolly down. You ain't never had a friend like me.
And you are so good at taking a musical style and then just making it your own. Is that something that you always look to listen to a certain style or a certain genre and weave it into your work?
It really started with Little Shop of Horrors, because originally when Howard and I wrote Little Shop, we wrote a score that was jazzy and kind of like the Corman movie, and loved the story, but people, you know, sort of, we did a read through and people looked like us, like we had 6 heads or something, like, it's weird. And then one day Howard came in and said, oh, it's going to be the Dark Side of Grease. And boom, we went into that world. It was the world of those beach blanket horror movies from the early 60s of bubblegum rock and roll, but telling, you know, the song from The Monster from the Deep. Everything I've done since then has taught me I want to bring the audience into a world that's familiar, but also in a surprising way.
You have had so many collaborators over the years. What is your greatest lesson that you've learned from a collaborator?
Well, the greatest lessons I've learned were from Howard. And it was in putting work out there and then, you know, putting it aside, or try this or try that. Because before I worked with Howard, I was writing music and lyrics together. That's exclusively what I was doing. But I used that part of that muscle I use in the collaboration with lyricists to create a piece of music that leads to I think, you know, even more interesting lyric. For Hunchback of Notre Dame, I had a piece of music I had written. I remember Stephen and Carol Schwartz were over for dinner, and I had just gotten the Disclavier, the Yamaha made piece. And I had the piece of music is, very seldom do I just write a piece of music without some dramaturgical purpose. And it gets to, he says, oh my God, that's out there. That's out there. You know, I'm willing to change a piece of music for a lyricist, but I want to put out there something that's really going to stretch the structure of the song in a really interesting way and make it less predictable and more music driven. And I think that adds a power to it.
Is there a song sometimes that sets the tone for a show?
Oh, absolutely.
What was it for Aladdin?
Certainly there was Arabian Nights, which used a very authentic, you know, all, you know, very, very cheeky and winky against that piece of music. And then there's Friend Like Me, but I don't remember the exact order of the songs we wrote. For Mermaid, certainly this came very early. It was just about the movement of the water. So finding the genre and the DNA of the score is huge, because at that point, often with people who are not musical, you have to give them something that says, this is what it feels like, and they go, oh, I love that.
Your name is so synonymous with modern day Disney movies and musicals. How does it feel for you, comparatively, to be part of the Broadway community?
It feels organic because I grew up with so many of these people. When you have written a musical and it works, it's like you've constructed the best toy in the world. It's just amazing, and you can always play with it. And it works. For me, everything is musical theater in a way. A great album is musical theater. So
it's all connected for you.
Well, it's the essence of music. The Disney movie that actually, when I was a little boy, made me want to become a composer, or just drew me into wanting to write music, was Fantasia. Because it was the marriage of classical music, all these amazing composers, with visuals and emotions. And after that, any piece of music, I attached a story and a visual to it. You'll see, ma, now comes a better part. Someone's gonna make good cross his stupid heart. Make good and finally make you proud of your boy.